I hope so. Hi, Bobby. Hi, Christina. Can you all hear me all right? We've got a new setup, so I'm trying to get used to everything. I hope this is working. Let's see. Bueller, Bueller. I love you, Bobby. Can you hear me okay? I just need someone to type yes or no that you can hear me all right. We're streaming live in two places tonight, both on YouTube and on my Facebook page. Hi, Swifty Nifty. How are you, dear? I hope everyone is doing well. Yay! I'm so glad to hear that. Did everybody have a great day, or at least a good day, or at least a day where you didn't throat punch anybody? If you see me taking little bites of food, it's because I haven't eaten since breakfast. And my son just brought me a piece of pizza. Yay, thank you. And if I don't eat, I get lightheaded. And I never thought I would eat on a live, but I really have to get something in my belly. And I've just been busy all flippin' day long. Hello to everybody on my Facebook page. This pizza's hot. Just cheese pizza. It was a pepperoni pizza, but I don't like pepperoni. So my son baked a pizza and put all the pepperoni on his side, which is fine with me. Yay, Christina, editing, so much fun. Not. I hate editing. I really do. I love Costco's frozen pizzas. They're really good. So what did I do today? I did get some writing in. As you can see, the other day I moved my furniture around in my office because I was feeling extremely claustrophobic the way I had it set up. I had to bring in an extra desk for my live streaming. And the way I had it previously set up, I'm not showing up on YouTube, they're telling me. Well, I don't know why that is. We may exit out of this and try again. Oh, Christina's trying to figure out marketing for Kindlevella, and she added some gray hairs. I hear you, sister. But it says I'm on YouTube. Shannon. Let's see. I think what happened was, yes, I'm live. Okay. Just making sure. Shannon's like, you're not live. Well, I don't know what happened. Shannon, we'll talk later. Okay. I don't know enough about Kindlevella to give any opinions on that. I can't write little. I can't wrap my head around Kindlevella. I understand how it works. I know how it works. But all of these places like Radish, Kindlevella, all the other places. I can't write. When I write, I seriously cannot pay attention to word count. And because in my opinion, it needs what it needs. It needs the words that it needs. Each book does. I can write novellas, But how separating those up into little tiny episodes, I don't know. I'll give it a try. In the future. Sometime. In the future. And if you're here on YouTube, if you could go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button and the share button, that really does help. Because my goal is to help as many people as I possibly can to improve their writing. And again, we've talked about this. I don't care how many books you have out there. I don't care if you've got 100 words out there, 100 books, 500 books. You can always improve your writing. Even Nora Roberts will tell you that. Okay, I'm done with the pizza, I think. So tonight we're going to talk about characters. Oh, I love you, Shannon. It's okay. I'll explain what happened later. Anyway, we're still doing that deep dive into creating awesome characters. Characters that your readers are going to love or love to hate. And I think that's vitally important. You want believable characters. You want your characters to be lovable, or at least likable, or hateable. It depends on if you're writing a protagonist or an antagonist. So let's talk about lovable characters. And I think I've discussed this before. Okay. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. But the movie My Fair Lady, and I've discussed this before, I hate that movie. Passionately. And here's why. The hero, and I put that, I'm using that term loosely, was the most unlikable hero I've ever come across in my lifetime. He, as far as I was concerned, had not one single solitary redeemable quality. He was so mean and vile and rude to the heroine, Audrey Hepburn. Gutter snipe. He kept calling her gutter snipe, and he kept insulting her at every single turn. He insulted her, right? I don't care that he gave her beautiful gowns and helped her to speak better or more proper. I don't care what physical, monetary gifts he bestowed upon her. He was mean to her. I don't understand how she could have fallen in love with him. I just don't. There was no kindness. There was no, I could not see any adoration that he held for her. Because it was constant insults. Just constant. Christina said that's the way she feels about Scarlett O'Hara. I loved that character. I loved that movie Gone with the Wind. And yes, I see your point. I think she did. I think with Scarlett O'Hara, she did what she had to do in order to survive, right? And her understanding of what true love was didn't come until the end of the movie. And that was sad for her, okay? But she had spunk. She had a vitality. I think she was feminine when she needed to be. But she was still a really good, strong character, in my personal opinion. So, back to a hero. Your hero has to have, he can be a broody, moody, dark hero. Completely acceptable. But please, for the love of all that is holy, give him at least one redeeming quality. Give your readers something that they can cling to, okay? Because like we discussed last week, you're layering your little tidbits of information about why your character is behaving the way he is or she is, why they're doing what they're doing. You layer in little bits of their history. You give little breadcrumbs that explain why your character is behaving the way that they're behaving, okay? But there's still, even with your, well, not necessarily with your villains, it depends on how you want to write that villain, but with your protagonists, with your main heroes, your main heroine, you have got to give them some kind of redeeming quality. You have to give a scintilla of humanity to that person. Oh, I loved Rhett Butler too. Yeah, I didn't like Ashley. I never understood why Scarlett O'Hara loved Ashley the way she did. I don't know. I'll never understand that. But that's okay. It was still a really good movie with, I think, yeah, really good, solid characters. But as it pertains to writing, see, that's the trick. With writing, not necessarily the trick. With movies, you're limited. You can only, it can only be so long, right? And I think where My Fair Lady failed was in the fact that they did not show a glimpse of his humanity, any kind of redeeming quality, right? With books, you can do that because you can take all the time in the world that you want to, right? We're not, I mean, in certain instances, we are, confined to a word count. Again, I'm not the kind of author that pays attention to a word count unless it's a novella. But you still have to give some kind of redeeming quality to your characters. Unless it's your villain and he's a really, really horrid, like Edward Bowie in Frederick's Queen. There was no way I could give him any kind of redeeming quality. Just none whatsoever. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it with her father. And I could not do it with Edward. There was just no way because of the intensity of the villainous, the intensity of the darkness in those two characters. I just could not give either one of them a redeeming quality. I just couldn't because of the horrific things that they did. Roberta says, during a recent road trip, my son had us listening to podcast stories. Well, it was neat to hear the sound effects. It didn't have the hook for me like book does. Exactly. Because you can't get into the meat of it. Okay? You just can't. Audiobooks are different. If you've written your books well, you can get to all of it. You can explain pretty much everything that your reader needs to know. Again, you do not want to do an info dump. Angie says, oh, I've got to put my cheaters on. Hang on. Gone with the Wind was so passion-filled. Passion to live and love. That's what draws me in, and the grit or determination on to carry after deep tragedy. Exactly. So you want your heroines to have strength, I believe. They can be weak. They can have moments of weakness. They can have bad things happen to them. They can feel despondent and like, nothing is ever going to change in their life. You can do that. You can write that kind of heroine. Hi, Bella. I hope you're doing well, sweetheart. I just love you. Anyway, with your heroines, you can write a weak or a heroine who has weak things about her, but she can't stay that way during the entire book, right? Because no one can fall in love with a heroine who doesn't have redeeming qualities, right? This is from a female perspective, you want your heroines to blossom and grow, or you want them to begin that way where they're very strong, independent minded, independent women who just face life head on. Those are great characters. I love to write characters like that. I love to write great heroines who, might have had a rough start to life, might have gone through a lot of tragedy, a lot of BS, but they were able to overcome that, right? You want them to be relatable and real, okay? Even though we're writing fiction, you still need to have some kind of relatable quality with your main characters. Oh, hi, Carolyn. She says, I'll admit Scarlett was a great character. I just didn't like her. And that's fine, but she was still a great character, right? You didn't have to love her. You didn't have to like her, but she was still a great character. Okay, and we want to transfer that to our books, right? We want to create characters, especially your main characters, your hero, your heroine. They have to have redeeming qualities, something about them that makes them likable. And now back to the brooding hero, okay? It's okay to have brooding, dark heroes. That's okay. You can have that. You can create that kind of hero who is overcoming some kind of tragedy that took place in his life. Shannon, I don't know what that means. Elbow, cough, cough, elbow, cough, cough. I'm not sure what that means. Anyway, he can be dark. He can be brooding. Black Richard had several transformations over the years. So in the beginning, when I first introduced him in Layden's Daughter, he was just this lovable, likable character. Everybody just loved him, and everybody for years begged me for his story. When are you going to write Black Richard's story? When are you going to write it? But then he had this tragedy befall him, and it was a lot of tragedy, right? And it caused him to be a darker person, a brooder, I don't want to say despondent. At least I hope he didn't come off as despondent, but I think you get my gist of this. But deep down, he was still the same Black Richard that everybody loved, and he had a lot of redeeming qualities. They were just hidden after, surviving the tragedies that he survived, right? So it's totally doable. Totally 100% doable. But it has to be done. You have got to give your characters, villains aside, your main characters, whether, it's your hero, your heroine, however you want to define these main characters in your books, especially when you're writing romance, they have got to have redeeming qualities. There has to be something about them that your readers can relate to, that your readers will love, that your readers will enjoy, and that will keep them turning the pages, right? So, your hero, yes, quirks and flaws. Bella says, I love to write my characters with quirks and flaws, but they'll stand their ground when it counts, hide the good points, and have their other half tease those good points until they come out to play. Exactly. Okay? You want, when you're writing romance, the characters have to play off of each other. Okay? They have to work together. It's got to mesh. Okay? It just has to mesh, and that's your job, is to make it mesh. You can have hard characters who, just hate life, but there's a reason why they're the way they are. Okay? There's a reason why your character is behaving the way your character is behaving, and it's up to you. And again, those little breadcrumbs that you layer throughout your story, explain to your reader why this particular character is behaving the way that they are behaving. Yes, Carolyn, I like to do that too. A villain who has redeeming qualities, just not too many, right? But create characters that your readers are going to love or love to hate, right? Likable, relatable, realistic, to a certain extent, because we are writing fiction, characters. It's easily done. And back to the aforementioned movie, My Fair Lady, had the director of that movie shown me one redeeming quality about the main character, I don't care if it was, feeding the poor, or, sending money to an orphanage, or, show me he has a secret love for puppies or kittens or whatever. Something, anything. And that's where I think they failed. Backstory is very important. You've got to have your backstory in your book. But what you don't want to do is an info dump. That's where you, up front, tell your reader everything they are ever going to need to know about your character, about this character that they're reading. Don't do that. Layer it throughout the story. That one thing more layered throughout the story. Perfect example of this. That one thing more that explains why something is happening the way it's happening. Okay, that one thing more that gives depth to your character. Bella Stone says, one of my biggest compliments I got from a reader was, I hated your FMC at the start, but loved her by the time I got to the breakfast with the team scene. That scene was 3/4 of the way through. Exactly. Okay. That's totally doable. You don't have to redeem them at the very beginning of your book. Okay. You start to redeem them in layers. Just little tiny glimpses. Again, explaining why the character is doing what they're doing. You spread that throughout the entire novel. And it might sound daunting, it might sound difficult, but it's not. If you take the time to really, and we discussed this last week, to really get to know your characters. If you take just a few minutes before you start writing the book about who your character is, what motivates them, what their goals are, what their likes and dislikes are, go beyond just, how old is the character, how tall is the character, what color hair, what color eyes, that type of thing. You want to go beyond that. You don't want a superficial character, especially for your main characters. It's okay to do that with secondary characters who might in the future get their own book. It's okay to do that. But with your main characters, you really have to know who they are. And one of the ways I do that is, like I said, what are their goals, likes, dislikes, and we discussed this last week. Their love language, how do they show love, how do they give love, and how do they like to receive love. Okay? Know your character's love language. And that works in any genre, whether it's romance or not. I think it's just a good idea to really know your character better than you know your own self sometimes, right? Another way to do that is, one of the things I like to do is, what is that one thing that your character is absolutely terrified of? Or what is that one thing that they know deep down, that they believe with all their soul, that they would never, ever, ever do? It could be killing someone. It could be stealing. It could be a treasonous act. It could be a betrayal. Whatever it is, what you want to do is force them to face that and make them do it. Sounds crazy, I know, but it works. What's the one thing that they never, ever want to have to do, and make them do it? What's that one thing they're totally afraid of? I don't care if it's being alone the rest of their life, terrified of the dark, terrified of water, terrified of snakes, spiders, elephants, whales, whatever it is. Find out what they're the most afraid of and make them confront it. It adds depth to your books, and you want books that have depth, and it's totally doable, even in your smaller novels, because we all know word count is, I think, genre specific. Like with historical romance, my readers love the really big books that are 150, 180,000 words long. But with your contemporary romance, they consider a full-length novel between 65 and 70,000 words, right? You can do it. It doesn't matter the size of the book. It's how you choose your words. Oh, thank you, Angie. Yes, Bella says she knows some authors who do personality tests for their characters to help them get to know their characters. Exactly. You can do that. Totally doable. And on my website at susantisdale.com, there were some worksheets that you could download. I believe I have a character template that you could download and use, change however you need to. But you have really got, and it's okay. It's okay for your characters to surprise you sometimes, okay? That's totally acceptable. You can be surprised right along with your readers. And that's fun. You can be like, I didn't know he would do that. Or I didn't know that about her. It's okay. But try to get to know your characters as much as humanly possible. As much as you possibly can before you even start to write the book. And it's okay to learn about your character as you're writing the book. That's perfectly acceptable. But at the beginning of the book, you've got to know more than how tall they are, hair color, distinguishable tattoos or scars or whatever. You've got to know more about your character than just that superficial stuff. And it's okay to learn about your character as you're writing. I just think when you think about these things ahead of time, you can call it plotting, whatever you want to call it. I think when you know about these things ahead of time, it strengthens your writing. It strengthens the book. Just my 2 cents. That probably ain't worth a nickel. Now, we were going to just wait for next week, but we have some time. Your heroine. Is she too stupid to live? I think that can go for the hero, too. You don't want to create characters that are just unbelievable or they do unbelievably stupid things. You want to try to avoid that. Okay? If you're trying to get your character from point A to point B to point C to point D, it's okay to have them stumble. It's okay for them to be a little ditzy or airheaded or whatever. But build that character, grow that character, change them into a character that you're going to love to love. Shiro. Thank you, Carolyn. A Shiro. Just keep in mind at the forefront, at the back of your mind, that whenever you're writing your characters, you need to give an explanation as to why they're doing what they're doing. Again, no info dumps, just layering little nuggets of information as you go along. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Oh, sure. Ashley says, hey, Susan, thanks for the live. Would you have any suggestions for a developmental editor for historical romance short story? Yes. Catherine Lynn Davis, she's my editor. She's phenomenal. She's a beautiful soul. I love her to the moon and back. And the first time Catherine Lynn and I ever worked together was on Stealing Moira's Heart. A little tiny novella, right? That was part of an anthology. And I'd never worked with Catherine Lynn before. I learned more about better writing and developing lovable characters or whatever off of that one tiny little novella than I had from all the books I'd written up until that point. That is what a great developmental editor does. Okay? There's all kinds of different editors, developmental editors, line editors, blah, blah, blah. I think every good author should have a developmental editor. Someone who will help you, who will teach you, who will help you create better books every single time. And that's what Catherine Lynn Davis does. A developmental editor is someone who, they're not looking for typos. They're not looking for proper grammar, punctuation, anything like that. What they're looking for is the plot. Is it a good plot? Does it flow nicely? They're paying attention to who your characters are. Are you doing a great job with your characters? Are they growing as the book progresses? Are they believable? Different things like that, Carolyn. Okay. My editor, Catherine Lynn, does not look for typos. She does not look for punctuation and stuff like that. I mean, she does it, but that's not what her main goal is. Her main goal is to look at the story, the whole big picture of the story. Are the characters lovable, relatable, realistic enough? Does the plot work? Do I have any huge plot holes? Did I insert something in the middle of the book that just totally, took it out of the ballpark? Oh, the Rocket Notebook. Yes. Okay. I got my Rocket Notebook. Did that answer your question, Carolyn? What a developmental editor is? So I have my developmental editor. Catherine Lynn Davis. She's awesome. You can find her on Facebook. You will love working with her. She's got a wicked sense of humor. And I can't imagine writing a book without her. I tried once when she was recovering from some surgery. And even though that editor did a fabulous job, right? I'm not dissing on that editor. She did a great job. She really did. But that relationship that I have developed with Catherine Lynn over the years, it's like we can read each other's minds. We know. She just knows me and she gets me. So, yes. And then after my developmental editor is done with the book and I make her suggested changes, and yes, honestly, a lot of times it's just accept all. I read the comments first and then accept all changes because I know her. You cannot do this with someone you've never worked with before, okay? So don't think that just because you hired an editor that you can do that. You have got to really develop a relationship with that editor, how they work, how they think, etc., etc. Before you go to hit accept all. Okay, so after Catherine and I are done with the book, then I send it to my final proofer. Her name is Emily. She is my daughter, and she's awesome. And they call her the Grammar Goddess, and she's really, really good. Perfect Pages Final Proofing Services. She's got a little thing on Facebook. You can reach out to her there, and she's just a delight to work with. And I know I drive her nuts. I do. I know I drive her crazy because she will call and she will say things like, how many times do I have to explain to you that you don't do, whatever it is I've done? Or how many times do I have to teach you what a dangling participle is? I don't care what a dangling participle is. That's why I have you. That's why I have you, darling. I don't care. I don't want to learn from her the proper placement of commas. I am a huge Oxford comma fan. You will never, out of my cold dead fingers, will they take my Oxford comma away from me. As a hill I'm willing to die on. But as it pertains to like em dashes and colons, I don't care. Just do that for me. Okay? So I have my developmental editor, and then I have my final proofer, who does look for the typos, who does look for proper grammar, proper punctuation, etc., etc. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. So, I got my notebook in the mail. The Rocket Book Fusion is what it's called, right? And this thing is so wicked cool. Wicked, wicked awesome. It came with a black pen, a Pilot Friction, Frixion. It's a gel pen, erasable gel pen, right? And it's very, very nice. But I like different colors. So I got this to go with it. And I've been using the blue and the purple a lot. And you can't tell in the light that one is blue and one is purple. I don't know why. Anyway, this has got to be one of the coolest. I'm telling you, this is, if there's anything that can help me break my addiction to spiral bound notebooks, this is going to be it. Okay. So it looks just like a spiral bound notebook, right? It's got lines. I hope you can see it. It's got at the beginning, it's got a calendar. You can, like little notes and calendars and, this. Can you see that? So you put your own dates in, your own months. So it's got this one, and then it's got like an at a glance, a place for goals and ideas, goals, etc. Anyway, this is my favorite part, is that it's lined. Oops, I hope you can see that. Okay, I'm gonna try and do this live. Okay, so you write on it. Can you see the lines I made? And then this is the cloth that comes with it. You just dampen it with water. Okay. And you erase it. And it's all gone. Right? And it will dry. It's got a little bit of a sheen right now, but it will dry. So what you do is you can plot out an entire book in this puppy, right? Then you take your phone and your camera on your phone, and then it's difficult to show how to do this, but you open up your camera on your phone, you get the whole written page in there and take the picture. I have mine to set up to go to my email, but what you can do is send it to the cloud, right? And you can have your files and everything, so it goes from the notebook to your computer, to your iPad, to your phone, to wherever you want it to go, right? And it's lightweight. You feel like you're actually writing on paper, which I do like. But this is just wicked cool. And you can just save everything into your files. I believe it can go to Dropbox. It can go all sorts of places. I only just got it. I've been really busy, so I haven't had a time to figure out all the ins and outs. Excuse me, allergies. But it's just really flippin' cool. And Shanna says it's the greatest invention ever, and I agree, because I have stacks and stacks, seriously, hundreds of spiral bound notebooks. Some are full, some might only have 3 or 4 pages written in it. They are in totes in the basement. They are upstairs trying to find a home. They're in boxes. They're just everywhere. And I think this is going to help me get rid of that spiral bound notebook addiction that I have. Because as you write, you can just take little screenshots. And if you fill up your notebook, your Rocket Book, right? You fill up all these pages. You just take a picture of it and save it and send it to the cloud. And it's just really, really, I mean, it's just flipping awesome. And I'm having a lot of fun discovering it. It is. I don't know, Bella. I don't know. This is just, I don't know, remarkable. I know that on my, Shannon says it's similar, but so much better. Okay. What I haven't figured out, Shannon, maybe you could tell me, will it do handwriting and then convert it to text? Oh yeah, it was like $20 off Amazon. It was super reasonable. It was not that expensive. And I just started with the regular one. I didn't order extra pages or anything like that. Oh, it does? Oh, yay! You're going to have to show me tomorrow how to do that. Thank you. So it'll take your handwritten notes and convert it to actual text. Yes! I love that. That is really cool. Um, so this is the first thing I wrote. It says, learn Rocketbook, nap, write, eat. Yeah, I'm a smart ass all the time, even with myself. Bella says she's been eyeing Remarkable because sometimes I like to write by hand if I need to work something out in my head. Exactly. And that's why I have all those notebooks. But you can do that with this. Now, I do have it on my iPad, which is heavy, right? Everybody's iPad's heavy. And I don't know where it went. Anyway, I have a special iPad pencil and a program called Nebo, and it'll do handwriting to text, which is really awesome. But the only downfall is that it's so heavy and it's not easy to carry. So that's why I'm liking this. I mean, this is like a real spiral bound notebook. Yeah, I loved it. I just got mine off of Amazon, Bella, and it got here last Saturday. But again, I've been really busy, and I'm trying to get an appointment to get my hair done, so I'll quit fidgeting with my damn hair. It's driving me nuts. It's at that length. Yeah. Anyway. Does anybody have any questions on character development? Anything you just want some more clarification on? They have loose leaf white and college rule now. Shannon. Stop it. Stop it, Shannon. Don't tell me these things because I'm trying to get away from all the damn spiral bound notebooks. Anyway, what other questions do y'all have about character development, creating characters that are going to be lovable, realistic, relatable, that type of thing? Give your characters quirks. Give them just, they might snap their neck a lot, or they might crack their knuckles, or they might collect coffee cups, or maybe their secret is that they are in love with Julia Childs and watches all the old reruns, right? It could be anything. It could be absolutely anything. They could whittle. That could be one way that they relax, is by whittling. But make those characters relatable. One of the things that you could do is have them bite the inside of their cheek, right? And so for the next few days, they're playing with it because it hurts. We've all done that. That's something relatable. That's something believable. That's something that we've all done. Oh, give them something weird about food? Cool. I do that. Like, do they have a sweet tooth? Or do they prefer savories? I happen to love all food. Sweet, savory, sweet and savory, spicy, all of it. So, as you can tell. Angie says, great question. What was the question, Angie? Secondary characters. I have this awesome chapter for this secondary girl that is distracting me from my primary. I don't know how to turn her off and focus on the main girl. Don't turn her off. Open up a new document, however you write. One of these weeks, I'm gonna do a Scrivener tutorial for everybody, okay? So that you can all see how easy Scrivener is. But anyway, I digress. Start a new document for just this secondary character and write all that stuff down. You may never ever use it again, but something tells me that this secondary character, who is being a distraction right now, is going to get her own book some days. It's just a prediction that I have from all my years of experience. I'm not a psychic, although I do sometimes like to play one on social media. So don't ignore those secondary characters. And secondary characters, oh my God, secondary characters are what adds even more depth and life to your books. Yeah, listen to her. Let her speak and promise her she's next. Exactly. Yeah, characteristics, flaws, perks, and so much more. Exactly, Aurora. Exactly. But your secondary characters are almost or as equally as important as your primary characters. Okay? Because your primary characters don't live in a vacuum, right? They don't live, unless the book is about two people on a deserted island. That's not how most people live. They have to have interactions with other people, whether it's people who are close to them, like a parent or a sibling or whatever. Checkout girl at the grocery store, the guy who changes their oil, whatever. Okay? You have to have great secondary characters. And some of my favorite was from Brogan's Promise, the two old women in Brogan's. I can't remember their names now. It's escaping me. But they were so much fun to write. They were just an absolute blast to write. And everybody still to this day talks about, why can't I not remember their names? I wrote them. You would think I would know. Yes, Aurora's right. They help make the story more alive. Exactly. It adds depth. It adds layers. And who knows, that secondary character could someday get their very own book. And that's how I do it. I introduce secondary characters. I don't have a clue where they're going to end up or what they're going to do or whatever. I don't necessarily know what their future is. But a lot of times they end up getting their own books. Just because I wrote them in a way that my readers loved them and they couldn't wait for their stories. And yes, Black Richard took, 8 years for me to finally get to writing. And that was the one story everybody wanted. Yeah. I have forgotten storylines as well. That's where Scrivener comes in very handy. That's where a final proofer comes in very handy. And I need to hire somebody to start doing book Bibles for me, because when I'm done, I'm done. So I need a really smart person who can create really awesome book Bibles for me. I think my husband's finally home. He spent again today with his mama. He put years ago, right after we first got married, he put on a screened-in front porch. And over time, they get holes either from hail or wind damage or whatever. So he's been working on fixing that. I don't know what that means. Shannon, I got a message from Retweet here. Congratulations, you received 100 messages today with Restream Chat. Okay. That's got to mean something. Yes, I could have a reader do it for me. But there are specific things that I really, truly gotta know. Not just a family tree. But the family tree is like the one thing I need to know with all my series. And I keep telling myself, I'm going to do that. I'm going to write this family tree out. I never do it. So I'll have to ask Emily if she would like to do a book Bible for me. I just sent my tag series out for book Bibling. It spans 4 years. I have zero chance of remembering everything for the final book. Exactly. I have too much. Oh my God. Show of hands. Who wishes they could just put a gig stick in their ear and download, into their brain and download all the freaking books that you have in your head? Me. I wish I could do that. Okay. Cool. Me. Yeah, right? So I'm not alone. Oh God. So for me to do a book Bible, I would have to be drunk. That wouldn't do anybody any good. Oh, thank you, Shannon. We have about 7 minutes left. Anyway, it was a good day. It was a beautiful day weather-wise. I hope the weather was good where you are. If you've got any questions at any time throughout the night, just put them in chat. Okay, and I will see them, okay, and I will try to answer them. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe and share. Yeah, Shannon cracks the whip. Bella says, I planned her to be... Oh, ignore me. I planned her to be a replacement background kind of girl, but my heart has just fallen for her. Her struggle with life is so real. See? A believable, lovable character that even you love. Because trust me, if you don't love your character, if you are not in love with your characters, don't care if it's the bad guy, the good guy, or whatever, then your readers are not going to love them either. And remember, what you want is to create characters that your readers are going to love or love to hate. That is your goal. And you want them turning the pages, and you want them turning the pages, and you want them asking for more, and you want them coming to you saying, when is so-and-so getting their own book? That's what you want. That is absolutely what your goal should be. And you cannot be afraid, and we've talked about this before, you cannot be afraid to use what I call the pretty words, right? You can do that no matter what genre you're writing in, okay? You don't have to take 8 pages to describe a sunrise. You don't have to take 12 pages to describe what your character looks like. Okay? You don't have to take 22 pages to describe how bad the coffee is in your office. Okay? But you can choose your words carefully. Use your thesaurus. That's one of the things I love about Scrivener is it's got a built-in dictionary / thesaurus. And I'm constantly using the thesaurus. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because, again, I've used this example before. If you're trying to describe a sunset, you can do it in 1 sentence. But choose the right pretty words. Instead of saying it was a purple sky with yellow streaks, you want to say something like the sky was lavender with streaks of crimson. It's that simple. That's a prettier sentence than the sky was purple and red, right? So don't be afraid to use that thesaurus. Do not, I don't care what genre you're writing in, you can use the pretty words. You can use the pretty words, and it doesn't take a whole lot of them. But with practice, you're going to get better and better and better at this. I mean, when I first started my first book, I didn't have a freaking clue what I was doing. You all know that. I didn't have a clue. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But I have learned over the years. I have learned how to improve my writing skills. I take advice from people I admire and trust. And that, again, my goal with every book is to make it better than the last. Aurora says, I know of an author who wrote a primary book. Well, she has 4 other characters and sub-characters. The other characters and sub-characters are now getting their own books because people love the main book. Exactly. Okay? I love series writing. I love giving secondary characters their own books. Bella says she uses Angela Ackerman and Becca Pugliese thesaurus a lot. I'm going to have to look those up. Bella, would you send me a link? I think this is where Kindavella is helping. I only have so many words, so each had to count. Exactly. That is a great example, Christina. I never thought of it that way. For new authors who are just starting out, maybe Kindavella is a really good idea for you. Because it will teach you how to use the best words, the fewest best words possible to create an awesome book. And what are books? Nothing but scenes. One chapter after another, one scene after another. That's all it is. Oh yeah, put it in chat. Thank you. I love that idea. So maybe I will recommend Kindavella to new authors because it's going to help you strengthen your craft. And that's what every Wednesday night is about, is strengthening your craft, getting better at what you do, right? And that should always be your goal. And I don't care what you're doing. You want to be a better painter? You got to paint more than one picture, right? Can't be afraid to use colors. You want to be a better singer? You got to sing more than one song. You got to keep practicing every day. You want to be a great chef? You got to cook more than one dish, right? You just keep adding and adding and adding to your repertoire and getting better and better and better. And the allergies are kicking in again. I love you, Shannon. But yeah, Annabella, if you could put that link in chat, that would be awesome. Okay? But it is 8 o'clock here. And it's time for me to go and go say hello to my husband because I haven't seen him all day. And he's just been very busy, and he will tell you that he works harder now that he's retired than when he had a day job. Poor little guy. Anyway, I think you're all awesome. Again, like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. Hit the notification button on YouTube so that you'll be notified every time I go live. And just thank you for being here. And I hope that my little winchy wisdom of writing helps you. I really do, because that's my goal. I just want to help. I just want to help authors be better authors. So I'm going to run, and just everybody have a great rest of your week, right? Just have an awesome, awesome week. Remember, every word counts. Every single word counts. It does. Every single word. So if you've only gotten 200 words in today, that's 200 more than you had yesterday, right? So anyway, I'm going to let you all go, and I will talk to you all Friday night at 7 o'clock Central for our Cheeky Wench Hour, where we go off script. We just talk about whatever the hell it is we want to talk about. And I have a feeling I'm going to have a lot to say about what's going on post Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. Oh my God. This is just, it's insane. Anyway, everybody have an awesome next several days, and I will see you on Friday night. Bye-bye.